What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Not Today with Eddie Pence and Jen Sturger. Eddie, are you in a better mood yet?
Good hosting, boys.
I'm trying.
Very good. Much
It's like
better
I've
than
done this
mine.
before.
I'm better.
It's coming along.
Don't have my hockey jersey anymore. I'm better.
Yeah.
Back on to football. Back on to football. I'm better now. I'm
Oh.
better.
Not from what I was hearing before the show started.
You
You
know,
took Colton to the zoo the other day?
look, okay, we had family in town, right? Colton's cousins came into town,
Mhm.
and the guy who works at the zoo. He's a listener of my other show. The
Yeah, I
Ralph
did that.
Report.
I did
Yes.
that fundraiser
Yes,
for giraffes.
the last for giraffes.
So
with
fun.
Mike Bona. He head to the giraffes at the LA Zoo.
So fun.
So he
Most fun you can have at the comedy show.
really the most fun you can have at the Comedy Chateau for sure. So we his cousins were in town. We were trying to find something to do because they're in for the day or whatever. So we're like, oh, I hit up Mike into the zoo, and he was able to hook us up with some zoo passes. So we went to the zoo and
Mhm.
walked around. And like when Colton was like 3, 4 years old, I was sort of a stay-at-home dad. Tracy was kind of working full time, and I was sort of the stay-at-home dad because I was doing comedy at night,
Yeah.
but during the day I was home. And so I was just like, and
You're
I
like,
had no
I
idea.
need activities to do with
'cause
this kid.
I wasn't a kid person until I had my own kids. So then you're kind of forced to be like, okay, what do I do with a kid now?
What do I do? How do I entertain this
I know I have to
thing?
feed it. Other than that, I don't know what else to do. So we had we bought like year passes to the LA Zoo or whatever. And so I would literally take him to the zoo 3 times a week just to walk him around.
Just to walk him around,
tire
get him
him
out of the
out,
house.
get him to take a nap. And it ended up being one of, if not the favorite time of my life.
Oh.
Having this 3-year-old like best friend
Oh.
walking him around the zoo and
Like we're at the same level mentally, buddy.
really like I get you, buddy. I get you. I just wish I could crap my pants
Oh.
and have someone change
I'm
me.
going to tell you, I'm really holding back on using my Rocky quote because out of context, if I said the quote from Rocky about zoos, I would
Yeah.
get canceled.
You can't use
But just know, thinking it in my head and having a nice giggle.
So anyway, I'm walking around with him, and like over this course of like a year and a half of me being the stay-at-home dad, like I'm just like, I didn't realize at the time, but I was making these memories
Yeah.
with my kid.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, at the time I was exhausted and tired, and I was like, I had other things I was trying to do, but I couldn't because I had to watch my kid.
But
And-
now they're those memories that have like that golden glow for
Right.
you that are like, that was such a special time.
right. At the time I didn't realize it. And looking back, I was like, that was literally one of the favorite times of my life, is spending this time
Aw.
with my kid, walking around the zoo, showing him these things, watching someone be excited at something for the first time. And so I had all these wonderful memories about this and these good feelings about it in my head. And then like we're walking in the zoo. Yes, the first time we've been in the zoo in like a decade, probably since he was like 4 or 5. And we're walking around. I'm like, hey man, you remember that? You remember that? You remember that? Remember that? Remember we did this here? Remember that? And he's just like, no. I'm like, oh, why you
no.
just
Listen, he's a baby when all that happened.
fucking just Kali Ma'd my heart right out of my chest and just held in it.
He was 3 though. You don't
Dude.
really start remembering stuff till like you're 5 or 6.
You don't.
And for some of us, it's better that way.
It is.
Trust me.
But like, yeah, it's all foggy even at 5 or 6.
Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
like dreams.
You remember, yeah, exactly. Like you vividly remember certain things, but like around them is a fog.
Yeah.
Like I remember my dad souping up my power reels with like a lawnmower battery or something
just
insane,
not smart
Yeah,
or good
and it caught on
in
fire.
any way whatsoever.
Bye, Jeep Wrangler.
Did he build you a ramp to jump it over the gorge? It's
But
insanity.
you remember certain things
Yeah.
like that. But I only remember the Jeep Wrangler incident because like the fire. You know what I mean? Like
right.
otherwise,
the
I
near
wouldn't-
death experience.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, it just takes some trauma.
Dad, my back's burning. Oh, it's because your car's on fire that I souped up for you.
It looks like I look like a 5-year-old in a monster truck rally where there's just flames going out the back of it.
Your dad's fucking hosing
Friday,
you down
Friday,
with
Friday.
a fire extinguisher like you're in NASCAR.
I mean, you could smell it for forever.
I'm sure.
Oh.
But
yeah,
anyway, so
you
I
remember that stuff.
you
don't-
remember that? You remember those big moments? But like the things that I was like, I hold on to as cherished memories. He has no clue of,
Oh.
and that's kind of But I mean, I guess it's good because he's
This
not
is the type of shit
traumatized.
exactly.
I didn't
That's good.
traumatize him.
It's good. He doesn't have a lot of memories, which means not a lot of bad
So
stuff.
I guess
happened
that's
to him.
good parenting is if you can get your kid through childhood with very few memories.
Yeah.
That's you've either not traumatized them or traumatized them to the point of
so
repression.
much that their brain has dissociated.
So I guess I've done a good job.
I was the latter. I was the latter. Sometimes I'm like, I'll look back and I'll go, oh yeah, I remember. My brain needs like a little help. Like, have you shown him pictures? Were there pictures from the zoo?
Yeah, like he remembered a couple, like very few things. Like when I would buy him this sugar water grape drink that came in like a dinosaur bottle.
Oh.
He remembered that, but he doesn't remember like because I spent so many days there and he doesn't remember.
You're like, this was such a chunk of our life,
It's such
bro.
a chunk of our life. Not his life, my life.
Oh.
But yeah, you know, it hurt. It hurt.
That's gotta be, yeah, as a parent, that's gotta be rough.
Yeah, because it means so much to you, and it means, and it's not that it doesn't mean anything, and they just don't remember it.
Is this the first time something like this has happened for you?
On such a large scale,
Yeah.
because we spent so much time there. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, remember that one time we did this, or the one time we did that? It was like a one-off thing. Okay, well, you obviously probably forgot about that. But this was like something like 3 days a week for like a year and a half.
Yeah,
we
my
spent.
parents used to do the same. My mom did the same thing with me at Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
You know, and we hung out in like the kid area
Yeah.
of Busch Gardens for forever. That was Busch Gardens was my babysitter, which is why I turned out the way I did.
There's a brewery. There's a brewery there, right?
Tell me you're white trash without telling me you're white trash.
I was raised in Busch Garden.
Your daycare has a brewery and a bird show. Like that's my memories. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's one of the things, like watching my nieces. I want to take my niece I want to be part of when my niece finally goes to Disney.
Sure.
Like I really want to be there for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like Disney through the eyes of a kid, way different
It's
than
pretty amazing.
adult Disney.
It's pretty amazing.
Do you get upset that you're stuck in like Fantasyland the entire day, or
No, because you're watching through your kid's eye. If now if he was like, if you take your kid and he's like 9 or 10 and you're stuck in Fantasyland all day, or like Toontown, then you want to murder people.
That's why those fights start there.
Dude,
there's always fights in
Yeah, because
Toontown.
people are stuck there all day, and you're like, it smells like diapers. I got to get out of here. And there's fucking Galaxy's Edge is right. I can see Galaxy's Edge. Let's go there. Let's get out of fucking
We're so
Toontown.
close.
I cannot ride Roger Rabbit one more fucking time. But I see why Toontown people lose their minds in Toontown, because
Yeah.
you're like, this is just an acid trip.
With Disney, though, it's funny because I feel like that's a really expensive thing for your kid to not remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's an investment for most families, realistically.
First time we took Colton to Disney, he was 4. 4, yeah. Or
Does he remember it?
He might have been, yeah, he was almost 4. He was 3, almost 4. No, he doesn't remember it, but we got him in free.
Oh.
So it's fine.
You're like, the minute I start dropping coin,
The minute you got to
and
pay
you
for
don't
it.
remember, Colton,
Yeah.
you're going to pay me back for this as an adult.
But like, you need to like, they got to be like, I would say 5 at the earliest. 7 would be best.
I feel my dad's rule was
7
you better
would
be
be
ready to
best.
walk the entire day.
Yeah, you
He's
don't
like,
take a
we're not
stroller.
taking strollers.
You don't take a stroller.
Exactly.
7-year-old. 7 is the best. That's the best time to probably go.
Yeah.
Because they're fun. They have the energy.
They can ride most of the
They can ride
things.
most. You can do like Pirates of the Caribbean. You can do stuff like that.
Did you ever take him on something that he was absolutely terrified of? Where you're like, we need to get off this
First day we
ride.
went. First time we took him to Disneyland. Again, he was like 3.5, 4, and we got there right as the park opened, and we went to Indiana Jones because he wanted to do Indiana Jones.
He wanted to.
He'd never seen Indiana Jones, but he knew about the fedora and the whip,
Oh.
so he knew the character.
He's like, I'm just in it for the accessories.
he knew the character. He wanted to go ride Indiana Jones. We get there.
How'd that go, Eddie?
Well, this is not well. This is what happened. We get there and they let us through the beginning of the line,
Mhm.
right? Where you go, you have to be this tall to ride this ride
Yeah,
or
of
whatever.
course.
He gets through that. Doesn't even check him. They just let him go. We wait in line like 35 minutes. We get up to the front and then we're getting ready to get on. And the
They're
lady's
like, hey, we got to check you
she's like,
again.
oh, come over here. And he's like literally like an inch too short to ride the ride. And like, sorry, you can't ride it. And he was like so excited to see Indiana Jones and all this stuff. And he just lost it. And so we're carrying this like 3-year-old kid out of this ride, just screaming his ass off because he couldn't ride the ride. But the good thing was they gave us front of the line pass for later for anywhere in the park we wanted to go. Front
Oh,
of the
that's
line pass.
nice.
So we were able to do front of the line pass. So we ended up going
Because
to
you took him when like the line for that ride would have been awful.
yeah.
It
We
would have
waited
been
for a
awful.
while.
Yeah.
And then so we had the front of the line pass. And so later in the day, he wanted to go Splash Mountain, which was his favorite ride at the park at the time.
And he could do that.
For all the
one.
racial overtones. So
That's one of those rides where you look at and you're just like,
we did that.
How did we? You guys,
How old is this ride? Only
this-
1990?
And it's based
How
on
did
a
we
movie.
do that?
It's based on a movie that there are no physical copies of anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they made the ride literally after they banned the movie.
Exactly.
What are you guys doing?
How did that meeting go down?
Zippity doodah.
How did that meeting go
I
down?
don't know. Just fucking, hey, you guys, we have a funny song and there's a briar patch. Let's forget about the happy slaves, and we'll focus more on Brer Rabbit.
Oh my God.
We won't have the guy singing the
Yeah.
Zippity Doodah song.
No, just a bunch of birds and
So,
shit at the end.
We
doing
we take the front line pass because it's like summertime and it's hot, and that line's a mile long for Splash Mountain. So we're like, all right, let's go use our front line pass for Splash Mountain.
it. Oh no.
Colton was excited because he's ridden that before. He rode that
Okay.
earlier in the day before the line got long. He was like, oh, that's easy. We want to ride again, so let's take it. And we did it, and we get through it, and it breaks down
No.
as we're in the tunnel. Did you ever ride Splash
Yeah,
Mountain?
of course.
Okay, there's a part where Briar Fox is caught in some sort of in the Briar Patch,
Yeah.
and
Obviously,
he's just
I remember
hanging
this.
upside down, and he's laughing. He's
Mhm.
screaming, laughing
So you got stuck in the laughing
We
place?
got
You
stuck
got
with
in the
him.
laughing place.
right by my ear in a boat for 20 minutes.
I thought you were gonna say you got stuck in line.
No.
Getting stuck on the ride is so much
We got
worse.
stuck on the ride in the laughing place, and he was just laughing in my ear for 20 minutes. And I'm like, this
That's
is
reparations,
fucking
Eddie.
it is reparations. My white guilt is gone. I no longer have white guilt. I feel we're even now. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Oh my god.
But then they finally came and got us out of the boat, and then they walked us through the back part of the ride. So like all the magic
Did it
was
really
destroyed.
break down, or was it somebody trying to scam the system where they were like, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair all day, but I don't actually need it? Was it one of those?
It might have been that.
Yeah. That
Peop-
was I hated when that happened in the haunted mansion.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because when you're younger, like that stuff is still a little scary.
yeah.
And I just remember getting stuck in the haunted mansion and I was like, this is my worst nightmare come
Dude,
to
it's
life.
the candelabra floating down the hallway. That used to freak me out as a kid.
Oh, that's where
That's
they
the
got
thing
you.
that got me. What got
Mm.
you?
It was all the zombies popping out from behind when they were like, we need to make this scarier. And they were like, we should have zombie heads pop up from behind. It's anything jump scary.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the creepy stuff, whatever.
Well, like the candelabra
spooky-
floating down the hallway, that
Nah.
looked real because it looked like a floating candelabra in the hallway. So every time I would look down a hallway in life, I'd be like, I'm going to see something floating. That's
Oh,
gonna freak
really?
me out. No, I'm never going to see a rubber zombie mask pop out of somewhere and scare me.
It's the jump scare of it.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. But seeing something like, okay, if I look down a hallway and I see something floating, I'm
I
going to
actually had this thought
out.
literally last night when I was walking upstairs in my house. I may or may not have been high, but I was walking upstairs and I just remember being like, you know, in horror movies where they have like the suspenseful music and they let you know something bad's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it worse if like you had that music in real life where you're like, oh no, what's about to happen to me? Or would you rather, this is a high idea, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's hilarious that
Okay.
I thought this through last night. Or would you rather experience like a jump scare in real life
with no music.
with no music? If real life could have the suspenseful music that would let you know something bad is about to happen to
Well,
you.
no, because the jump scare happening without the music, you're just scared in that moment, right? But if you
Yeah.
have the music building up to the crescendo, you're getting scared while you're hearing the music.
I feel like that's a metaphor for my life.
Your music, your life is just jump scare music
Yeah.
building up.
Oh, it's all
something
there's-
bad?
There's jump scare music that only I can hear. So that's why I have the worst startle reflex of all time. It's so bad. Someone walks up behind me, I'm like, oh my God, you know, so bad. But I thought about that last night as I was like, would I rather? Anyways,
I think I'd rather just have the jump scare without the music,
yeah.
because the music is giving you you're getting worried as you hear the music.
So yeah, that's why I was scared of the zombies.
Now, if you turn around, walk the other way, does the music start going down?
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so it's like
Yeah.
a play. It's like playing like like hot.
Hot potato.
Hot potato.
Hot potato.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
right.
getting warmer, getting
Isn't
colder.
it called hot potato? No, it's not hot potato. Hot and cold.
Hot and cold.
Yeah,
You're getting
whatever.
warmer, you're getting colder.
Yeah. They're like,
I just spend my whole life walking away from the music.
don't go near that guy at the bar, Jen. Suspenseful music starts
Yeah,
playing.
then you turn
walk
around,
away
walk
from
the
him.
other way.
Yep. Oh,
Goes
you're
down.
good now. Exactly. So many of my life problems could have been avoided if there was suspenseful music leading up to the point where I was about to ruin my life. They're like, do I want this job with the Jets? Maybe.
Maybe it sounds like a good
Oh,
idea.
wait, music. Nope, we should turn this down. We should turn
Dun.
this gig down. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's a really tough thing though, having to think about your kid growing up,
Yeah.
getting older, all those memories.
It hurts. You raise a good kid. The kid's a good kid, so you did a good job there. But like the
Yeah.
stuff that you hold on
And he
to,
is a good kid.
the stuff that you hold on to, that you have these fond memories that no, like usually if you have you're in a relationship with someone, that person also remembers those fond memories.
Yeah.
And you guys can, oh, remember, at least we had the good times. That sort of thing, right?
Some of us do that way too well.
Right. But with a kid, it's sort of like, well, I had the good times. I remember them. He doesn't, but I did my job because he's a well-adjusted human being.
Then that's what
That
you have
sort
to
of
hate.
thing.
That's what
Right.
you have to
That's what
hang
you
on
have to take
Eddie.
from it. That's what you have to take from
Don't tear up on a podcast.
I'll
Don't
try
make it
not
weird.
to.
Oh,
I'm close.
I've been traveling a lot lately for shows, and I've been playing a lot of crowds that aren't necessarily my crowds. Do you know what I mean?
Well, every comic starts out that way. You have to build your crowd, right?
Do you? I can tell when I'm paired with a comic.
Well, there's crowds that are there to see that comic, and then there's just
and they tolerate
comedy.
you.
Then there's just comedy crowds.
Yeah,
that go there to see comedy.
for sure.
So if you're going with a person who is a draw, then you're in front of their people.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to just going to a club.
Where they paper it.
Right.
Where they just give away free tickets
Or you're going
and
to
stuff. Or they're just generic and it's a generic lineup where there's lots of comics.
Yeah, or
on
you're
it.
just going to a comic who's maybe not that well known, but they're still headlining your featuring, and that comedy club just draws people in because it's a comedy club.
Yeah.
Different.
But it's been interesting working for different comics and featuring for different comics right now, because I feel like it's teaching me a lot on how I can dial my material in better to like serve me with more people. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Where I don't feel so niche, you know? But then when you get in front of a crowd that you're like, I know how to work these people.
Yeah.
Like it's an electric feeling.
Yeah.
I had one of those last night and I was like, this is why I do stand up. This is 1,000,000% why I do stand up. But I also feel like I'm really honing into my voice right now. And I've been a couple years ago, someone told me that I needed to dress nicer on stage. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's someone's opinion.
Yeah, but they were like, Jen, you should really
Opinions
dress.
are like assholes.
Exactly. You should really dress nicer on stage.
Everyone has
because
one, and they
you're.
smell.
They're like, you're pretty.
Yeah.
But it feels like you're trying to pretend you're not pretty, which is making it worse.
Okay.
And I was like, but they're like, that's part of your marketability. And I was like, but that's not the real version of me. I feel
No.
like this podcast, this is the real me.
Yeah.
This is very close to the real me.
I would agree.
But when I'm on stage and people were telling me like you needed to dress up or you need to look a certain way,
No.
it just felt, it just didn't feel real. And so
If you're playing a part in a movie or TV show, yeah, you dress up and you look whatever
but
become
I
that
think,
character.
this might be crazy. I think the way that I was dressing on stage was also confusing my voice. Because I feel like I was presenting one way, but like it wasn't
Yeah,
authentic who I was.
Yeah, that could be true.
Does that
as
make
well.
sense?
Yeah.
So
If you're looking a certain way, you're put especially female comic,
yeah.
how you present on stage, people automatically
We have to worry about this.
yes.
Like guys don't have to worry about what they're gonna wear
to
on
the same
stage.
extent. To the same extent. I think there's some everyone gets judged when they're on stage.
Eddie, you don't wake up and be like, oh man, I can't wear this Superman shirt. I've already worn it.
No,
on stage
I'm
once."
saying not the same extent. I'm saying everyone walks on stage, they're getting judged by the audience. Women to a much greater extent.
How has your journey in comedy, as you've gotten older, how has that vision changed, do you think? Like, have you reached your like cranky old man era? Do you think that that's happened yet? Or do you feel like you're still, because of your young mindset, do you feel like you are like staving that off?
I'm not the cranky old because I've seen a lot of comics this year, and the hour that I'm working on right now, I think it's a little different than most people my age that are doing comedy, because I've seen a lot of comics in my age or my age group or generation or whatever. A lot of people talk back about how great their generation was and how kids today are this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I think this generation is so much better than the generation I grew up in.
Well, you're raising it. You know what I mean? Like you have a first, I feel like a lot of the guys that have that perspective probably don't have kids.
They don't. I don't think they do, or they have such young kids they haven't really raised them into it yet. I've seen this generation, and every generation has shitty people. Every generation has shitty people. But to think that because I'm Gen X, and to think that people from Gen X are this, we survived because we drank out of garden hoses. Like, who gives a fuck, dude? Because no one taught us to do. That's not good to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're better than kids today. That they're like, I'm not going to drink out of that. It's poison.
Isn't Gen X kind of like the forgotten one?
Yeah, we were latchkey kids.
Yeah.
We were the first
You were
generation.
literally forgotten.
Yeah, we were the first generation
Oh, you
where
live here?
both parents worked,
Mhm.
and we were literally at home from the minute school ended until someone came home and made dinner at 6 o'clock at
I
night.
feel like I'm on the border of millennial and Gen X. So like I'm the elder millennial
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah,
Because I got hints of that,
yeah.
but it was mostly like the millennial experience. You know what I mean? But yeah,
We were Gen X. We were sort of like we're the generation that raised all the kids with the consolation prizes. And now we're the grumpy old
Oh.
generation that gets mad at everyone for consolation. I'm like, we're the fucking generation that did that. We're the kids that were
That's
at
our
home.
fault.
We were the ones that were left at home alone, and we felt unwatched and uncared for. And so we're like, I'm not gonna do it. When I have my kid, I'm gonna make sure he feels good. And so what happens? We all had our kids, and we're like, no, you get a participation trophy because you did it. You were part of that. You're good. So we took those feelings of feeling sort of abandoned and left alone, and overcompensated with our
Oh,
children.
that's such a
And
funny
now the
thing.
millennials and the Gen Zers, right? You guys that were given all the consolation and the participation trophies. That's from our
Hey.
generation
I didn't get shit.
that
growing-
created that.
I was not raised in that environment. My parents weren't like, I'm going to do this better.
Well, your parents
they were
aren't
like,
Gen
I'm going to
Zs.
double down on this.
Yeah, your parents weren't Gen
no,
X.
they're boomers.
They're probably
right?
boomers, right? Or close
Right?
boom. Yeah.
Or they're close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. My parents were still very much the rub some dirt on it kind of people.
Yeah, that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
You're very close to where I grew up. Like, oh, you just stop crying. I'll give you something to cry about.
you-
I'm like,
oh, yeah.
No, I already got something to cry about.
I
That's
have
why I'm
lots of
crying.
things. I have lots of things to cry
That's
about.
why I'm crying. I don't need one more thing that you're going to give me anyway.
But yeah, I think you've raised a really good kid. You've raised a really good kid. And I don't feel like Colton has like a too much of that mentality where like he gets a consolation prize, does he?
No, I mean, that's the toughest.
You just don't put pressure on him to enjoy things that he doesn't like. You know what I
No.
mean? Or that he's
I don't force him
you
to
know,
do
if
things
he's
he
not
doesn't
lit up by it, you're not like, you're gonna keep playing football and hitting heads
No.
and stuff.
Like he signed up. He's playing football at North Hollywood
but that was
High.
his decision.
That's his decision. I never pushed it, and I would keep saying, "Hey, man, you don't like this? You want to drop out? Go ahead,
You
drop
want to
out.
keep your brain cells? We're
Right.
here for it.
Please keep your brain cells. You need them."
We're here for it.
So it's like I never pushed him into that stuff. I always let him like, yeah, you find your own way, and whatever you want to do, I'll support it. But yeah, it's just weird because it's I never understood why people have such affinity for their own generation.
But yeah, you don't talk about that kind of stuff on stage.
No,
It's still mostly about your kid
it's yeah,
and being a
'cause
dad.
being a dad, because who I am. That's what my life is
Yeah,
right now.
but like an unhinged dad. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Well, yeah. I'm a very open dad. Very open.
Hey, look, having kids is great content. I'm sure.
It is,
Like they probably come up with more brilliant stuff than we do, and they're not
dude.
even
He's
thinking about it.
written. I have a whole thing about SpongeBob that he practically wrote.
Really?
Yes.
That SpongeBob bit is Colton's
Yeah.
like brainchild.
But it wasn't like him going, "Hey, Dad, this would be funny."
He's
It's
not
like
pitching you bits.
No.
Like that's what my mom does, by the way.
no,
Do your parents pitch you bits?
not anymore.
Oh, so they did do
I
it
put
though.
a stop on that.
How do you do that?
Well,
Please
because
tell me.
I said, "Mom, I'm not. No, this is not." There's
She's
a
like, there's got to
difference."
be something funny here. There's got to be something here. This is
No.
a bit.
This is funny. You telling me this is the bit is funny, so that's going to be a bit now. But what you're actually saying isn't funny. You just have to say, "No, this is not funny, Mom. I can't."
Yeah.
Just go. You telling me this is going to be funny is now my bit. So unless you want to keep this up and you become part of the act,
Oh
then
yeah.
stop, then
My-
stop.
I told you, my mom heckled me the last time I played Tampa.
Yeah,
And I was like, the thing is, she thinks she's helping me right now.
yeah.
Like
not.
that's yeah.
No.
Welcome to my childhood. I'll
Unless
discuss
your
this in
mom was like
therapy.
Joan Rivers, she shouldn't help you with comedy.
No, definitely not Joan Rivers.
So
But it's a big day.
Yeah.
I mean, this will air in a hot minute. Yeah.
yeah,
2 weeks from now.
yeah.
But it's a big day. So it's gonna feel like late news for you guys. But OJ Simpson died.
I
today.
know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we told Mark.
Yeah, Mark was like, "Wait, what?
Simpson
Mark-
died.
How is anyone that disconnected that doesn't know something that big?"
Well, I only know because it popped up on every single device that I have
Yeah.
as soon as it happened.
Oh, you get push notifications?
Yeah, from like the new Apple News or whatever. OJ died at 76.
The guy who murdered OJ's wife is dead.
Yeah,
That's what the
the
headline
killer is
said.
finally dead.
Killer's finally dead.
But it was funny when we told Mark, he was like, "Oh, Like no one cares.
Yeah,
No
no.
one gives a shit.
No one cares.
No one
Every
gives a shit.
comic rushed right to Twitter with their best OJ material.
Yeah.
And by that I mean, please make it stop. Um,
I don't understand like
Awesome.
why comics do that.
what?
Have to be the first one to get some hacky lame joke out about some news event that happened.
Yeah, let's put some care into it.
Or just don't comment, knowing
Yeah.
that there's going to be a million other comments. You don't have to have yours out there.
You know who I want to know?
That's why I don't understand the rush to like, let me make a hacky joke about some news event that just happened.
Well, we all are just trying to write topical humor
Yeah, but for what? For who?
for the masses, dude. It sucks that we have to. We're
Yeah.
content creators at the end of the day.
It's not content. It's annoying.
Just to create that viral moment so you can sell tickets.
I guess, but like, it's just crap.
Oh,
It's just
is
all
Anthony
crap.
Jeselnik not on Twitter anymore?
I
That makes
wouldn't.
sense why he left.
If I was his
like,
level of fame, I would have left.
I
a
was like-
while ago.
I was like, I wonder what he said about the OJ thing because I'm like, at least I know it's going to be an original take.
True,
I hope.
but
I
even
feel-
him, I think someone at that level goes, "Yeah, I don't need to comment on this.
No,
I don't need to comment
no,
on
he
this."
actually talked about that in one of his specials.
did?
Yeah, where he was like, I know major news happens because I'll get a text from my reps that say, "Don't, just don't,
don't touch it.
Yeah. So like that's how he got in trouble for the Boston Marathon
Oh,
tweet
Yeah, yeah.
or the shooting in Aurora
Yeah.
with the Batman.
Yeah.
I remember that where he goes, other than that, how was the movie? Like that's the kind of jokes that I can get behind in a situation like this where you're like, it's just got to be an original take.
Yeah.
It's got to be an original take. But O.J. Simpson died, and it made me think like that's one of the few memories that I vividly remember.
It was a
from
national
certain-
event.
from certain parts of my life.
It was
You know,
like our generation's sort of like, where were you when JFK got shot? It's like, where were you when the white
does
Bronco
it have
was
that
gone?
kind of significance?
I think it does culturally, like pop culturally. I think it does.
Pop culturally,
Yeah.
The president of the United States getting shot a little
Yeah,
different.
but have you seen we live in a pop culture world. That's all it is anymore.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like it was something where we all, as a collective society,
Yeah.
tuned into.
I remember I was at the bowling alley with my parents.
Okay.
Just keeping
When
with
the Bronco was going?
Yeah, and it was on all the televisions. People were like,
Okay, you were the bowling. You weren't in like a crib, were you? You weren't like in like a playpen and your parents were
No.
smoking bowling
no.
while they put their kid in the playpen.
but that definitely happened in my childhood.
Yeah, that's
for
Virginia.
sure.
That's Virginia too.
Like the nursery at the bowling
Yeah, yeah.
alley still reeked of smoke. And they're like, why does my daughter have asthma? I have no
I
idea.
don't know. She smokes 12 packs a night at the bowling alley.
But yeah, so I
inadvertently.
remember watching the Bronco in the bowling alley on
Yeah.
the television.
I was
sets.
working at a Mexican restaurant named after an Irish person.
Wait, is this the one that they gave you the mitt when you
Yeah,
left?
the mitt. Well, I refused to touch the hot
They're
plates.
like, here you go, pussy. Bye.
Exactly. Carlos O'Kelly's was where I worked. And I
God, that
was
is such a random,
so stupid. It makes no sense.
not at all.
And I worked in the kitchen, and I was back there rolling burritos or whatever I was doing, frying tortilla chips. And I heard all this commotion out in the bar area. Like, oh my God, OJ's on the run. I'm like, what? And I run out there, and that's when everyone was like gathered around the bar TV watching this Bronco go down the highway.
When was that? Like 1994?
It's like summer '94.
Yeah, 94. And then what? The trial was the next year,
It took a year, and then
and that became like
October '95.
iconic pop culturally as well.
Yeah, where were you when the verdict came out?
Yeah.
We were all sitting in my roommates and I were I was a senior in college, and we were all gathered around the TV in our townhouse watching it. And like midday, it was like 3 p.m. when the verdict came out.
I don't necessarily remember the verdict. I remember the trial itself.
It was the
dragging
first
out all
televised
summer.
case for a celebrity.
Yeah.
It was huge.
And everybody from that trial like became like low key famous.
Yeah, everybody wrote a book.
Marsha
Everybody
Clark,
wrote a book. The jurors wrote books.
Yep.
The defense attorneys wrote books. We had the fucking
Judge Ito.
We probably wouldn't have the Kardashians if it wasn't for that shit.
That's 100% true.
Man.
So the world is fucked. First of all, the Kardashians fucked.
That
the
was
world.
the moment that if we had to go back in time to correct things,
Yeah.
we would need
That's
to
the
go
nexus.
back.
That's the nexus event that happened that set us on the path of having Kardashians ruin the world,
and we ended up having Biff as a president.
and then having Biff as a president, a reality television
I'm
show.
glad
host
that
as
we
a
can
president.
trace it back to one event.
The OJ trial
Yeah.
was the nexus event that gave us the Kardashians,
Remember
and then
Kato?
inadvertently gave us.
Do you remember Kato?
Yeah.
I did a comedy show with Kato.
I worked with Kato before.
You did?
Yeah.
I mean, is he? He's not.
Nice
He's not a
guy.
comic. He's very nice.
Nice guy.
He's totally someone you'd let live in your guest house.
Absolutely. I'd let him watch a murder. Sure. Knowing he wouldn't say anything.
It's not that he would say anything, but like he would definitely be the type of guy that if you asked him to do a
So
favor,
can you get rid of this bag? Don't look in it.
exactly.
Don't look in this bag. Just throw it away.
Nicest guy.
Don't
ever.
look in it. None of your business.
Kato. Oh, shit. But man, before that,
Yeah.
before the Bronco incident, before the terrible murders, OJ was like beloved. Like that's what I thought about this morning as I was just like, oh man,
Yeah.
remember Naked Gun?
He was huge.
He was
He was-
so good in that.
He was a commercial spokesperson for several different things. I remember that commercial when I was a little kid where he was running through the airport, jumping over suitcases and
Yep.
stuff. I forget.
Remember that?
And then he was a spokesperson for some insurance company or something like that. I forgot what it was.
Like
and
car
then
insurance?
Car insurance. Oh,
Mhm.
Hertz.
Oh
That's what it
man,
was.
when the Bronco thing happened, they're like, we got to get all those off the lot.
Fuck, I hope that's not a Hertz. I hope he didn't rent that
It's not
from
a-
us.
Did anybody rent? He didn't rent that from us, right? Oh, that would have been awful.
would've been
It's commissioned in
amazing.
a crime.
But yeah, he was hugely popular. He was like one of those guys where you're like, oh man, OJ, why?
I feel like that's one of those reasons why people shouldn't meet their heroes, though.
Yeah.
Or at least in the era of social media, I feel like we know way too much about people now that we can kind of tell when people are a little sus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or when
Well,
there's something.
the access to celebrity has never been more open. Even like people, I'm not saying we're celebrities, but even on our level,
Yeah.
just doing a podcast, you let people into your lives
Oh,
on a
for
level
sure.
that people that didn't, 15, 20, 30 years ago didn't do. Like you did TV spots, you did movies or whatever, and that was the only time you would meet your fans, like, oh, you happen to recognize you at a restaurant or
Yeah.
something. But now there's like, they can direct message you, they can tag you in something. So there's like a constant, like, it's weird. The access is so open now.
I was just trying to think of like who some of the other people were that when they did their thing, when they went off the rails, you were like, oh man, another one.
Well, I mean, I think you think Cosby is the first one.
it's the biggest one,
I would have to imagine that's the biggest one.
right?
Because I grew up on Fat Albert and the Cosby Show.
I grew up on the Cosby Show. I watched it in the daycare at the bowling alley. It was that in living color. The people that were running the bowling alley daycare
Wow.
were not
Wow.
great babysitters. Let's put it that way. Like I vividly remember watching Jim Carrey with Fire Marshal Bill and the sketch where he was attached to his mom by an umbilical
Yeah.
cord on the subway. I vividly remember that as a child.
I can't believe you were a child when that was out.
Why?
Because I was a teenager when I remember that, watching that stuff.
But
I'm
yeah,
just so old.
I just think about that. I think about stuff like this all the time. Where
I-
like those just vivid memories pop in. You're like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
We've lived through so much.
So much. I would think Cosby is the one that was the one that fell the farthest because he was so beloved by I mean, like a whole generation grew up on Fat Albert, and then a whole nother generation grew up on the Cosby Show. And then for him to do what he did is just like, you're like, I don't know if anyone else is on that level. OJ was close.
Yeah.
I mean, Cosby didn't murder people, but what he did was fucking vile.
Oh, for sure.
Where OJ murdered people, but I don't know if OJ was ever as beloved
As
worldwide
Cosby.
as Cosby was.
Yeah.
Respected by everybody and loved by everybody.
That's the thing. I think with most people, we see it coming. You know, they're celebrities, but we still see them as problematic. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Kid Rock for sure.
hey, fucking, calm down over there. Now you're really going.
I'm
Now
going-
you're
I'm
going
going
into my
after-
childhood, dude. You're going after my childhood. Low key, I'm so embarrassed to admit this.
What?
Kid Rock was like one of my first concerts
Oh,
I
that's
went to.
freaking brutal.
What?
What made you want to go? What was
Tell
the
me-
song where you're
Being
like,
from Florida.
I gotta see American
Being
Badass
from
live?
Florida. It honestly was The Undertaker. 1,000,000%. I blame it on pro wrestling. God, this is just, it's not getting better for me the more I talk. I should really shut up. This slapped, okay? How much can you play without getting in trouble for rights?
I already want to kill myself.
So anyways, that's Florida.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
It was him, Blink 182,
I like Blink 182. That was
Blink
fine. I don't have any
182.
complaints with Blink 182.
Limp Biscuit.
That's fucking wow. Jesus.
You're
Did you go to Limp Bizkit concert?
Yeah, I went to
Fuck,
Limp
dude.
Bizkit.
For what? What song was like, I got to see this live? I got to see Rollin' live.
rolling? It honestly was rolling.
And it had to be Lincoln Park as well.
I'm feeling personally attacked by the
Link-
two of you today. Fucking
Some of their older Lincoln Park, there's some stuff in Lincoln Park I could listen to. Some
Crawling?
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
But
But that was one of my first. Actually, my first concert was Gloria Estefan.
that's
And the
nice.
Miami
That's fine.
Sound
There's
Machine.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, in the Miami Sound Machine.
I saw Jack Wagner in concert. It was my first concert. Jack Wagner.
Jack Wagner.
Yeah. General Hospital.
Pause. The first concert you went to was a soap opera actor.
Yeah. I was big into General Hospital.
What?
Because it came on at 3 right after school and you could get home and watch it. And I would watch General Hospital.
Eddie,
Luke and Laura. It's huge into
I feel
Luke
like
and
we
Laura.
know each other really well, but I feel like this is a fact that should have come out in our friendship
It was
so much earlier.
Just one of those points in my life where I was watching soap operas. Well, just not soap operas, just that one, General Hospital. Because it was just
you
on.
didn't come home and watch cartoons or watch like Saved by the Bell, stuff like that.
No, I would watch cartoons when I could, but sometimes there was a time in my life when I was too young to be home alone.
Okay.
Because I know we're talking about latchkey kids, but I was like 2nd, 3rd grade. I was too young to be home alone.
Yeah.
And so my mom and dad were at work, so my grandmother would come over and watch us. She would be there when we got home from school.
Oh,
and so my grandmother
you were
watched.
stuck watching it with
so
her.
At the time, we were only a single TV house, and I had to watch her stories.
Oh,
So I'd have to watch General Hospital, and I got into it.
wasn't General Hospital the one that Meg Ryan was on?
So many people were on.
She,
I think
she-
Alec Baldwin was on
I think Meg Ryan was on it, and then she was in some terrible car accident. And when they took off her
Oh, she's a
bandages
different
from
person?
the car accident, she was my friend's mom. Like that was the actress. My friend's mom actually played Meg Ryan after her horrific accident, and she's
After-
a beautiful woman.
After Meg Ryan got a
Yeah,
better job.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny.
it's insane.
So yeah, I saw Jack Wagner. Who else I seen in concert? I think I saw the Beastie Boys in concert.
Okay.
Licensed to Ill.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah, that was good.
That I expect.
Yeah, it's fucking better than Kid Rock. Oh.
You need to wrestling. I blame the Undertaker. I blame.
Why? That was his worst phase.
No, it wasn't.
The American Badass was
No,
his worst
We
phase.
will fight over this.
Really?
Yeah.
Dead Man was so much better than American
Dead Man's
Badass.
fine.
Dead Man is the Undertaker. American
But then
Badass
he became rock and roll.
was garbage. That 2 years of him, that was garbage. Of him riding a motorcycle down.
riding the motorcycle out. Oh my god. Got me
Talking?
so hype. Got me
Fuck.
so hype.
God, that was the worst Undertaker. And I loved the Undertaker. It's the worst.
That's the era you can't forgive
Undertaker.
him for.
Yeah, it's unforgivable. It really, truly is unforgivable. They actually had to kill him off to bring him back. Don't you remember that?
No.
Kane hit him with a shovel and buried him alive.
Yes. Okay. I do remember that.
To get rid of the American Badass.
I do remember that
And
now.
finally bring back the Dead Man.
They were like, this bit
We
must
have to
die.
fucking
We have
kill
to kill
this.
this gimmick.
They couldn't just have it go away. They had to kill it.
What was an era of another wrestler that you look back and you were like, that didn't need to happen?
Oh, God. Let me see. What- oh, fuck.
I mean, Goldust is obviously.
Goldust was fun. Goldust grew on me because he started really leaning into it and it was funny.
Yeah.
Where he's playing sort of the you didn't know what sexual preference he was. He was really doing some weird shit at the time. Now he probably wouldn't blink twice at it, but back
Yeah.
then in like the late 90s, early 2000s, it was fascinating.
I just imagine them introducing Goldust now, like JR trying to figure out fucking pronouns. Being like, they
They in the ring.
them, they're making their way down to the ring. The they, them would blow his mind. I love JR. Super, super sweet guy. I loved working with him. Always. He was a friend of our old show.
Yeah.
But man,
That
I
would've
just
been-
imagine his brain exploding
Just-
trying to figure
Oh,
out how
hell.
to use
She,
they.
them,
They.
who.
It's back when you couldn't get canceled.
Yeah.
It's back when you. What's that? So that was what was your gimmick that you were like, no, this is the wrong one. Besides Undertaker,
Oh, fuck.
this isn't it.
That one hurt the most. Try to think who. I liked when Hogan transitioned into Hollywood Hogan. I thought that was a good move.
Yeah.
I never liked Sting into Crow Sting. I like Surfer Sting better. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan.
That is we will fight over
I
that.
wasn't big into Crow Sting.
Seriously?
No,
You didn't like Crow Sting?
it was good for a moment, like when he was going against the NWO. I understand why he went from bright, sunny Sting, Surfer Sting, to dark fucking emo sting.
You know why I think you don't like crow
Why?
sting?
Why?
Because I think there's a little bit of crow sting.
There might be a little crow sting in there. There could be a little crow sting in me.
That's you trying to hang on to that last few minutes of the
It's my-
sun.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
that does make me
That last little happy memory.
me at the zoo with my 3-year-old.
You are Surfer Sting.
I am Surfer Sting. But I got Crow Sting for the moment it was in. But then once the NWO was gone, well, we don't need Crow Sting anymore. It didn't make any sense. And for him to keep that for the rest of his career never made sense to me.
Did John Cena ever have an era that you were like, I can't with this?
I liked him at the beginning when he would come out and do the rapping. And he would throw out D's nuts he'd throw a bag of nuts and go, D's nuts. I thought that was my favorite John Cena, when he was a heel and he would come out and rap.
Yeah.
And
then,
then he
once he
turned
started
in-
becoming Make-A-Wish guy,
Yeah, when he was Make-A-Wish guy, I'm not into. But the early John Cena, I
you were
love.
such a cynical,
I was.
dick.
When it comes to wrestling, yeah.
such a cynical dick.
I am.
Oh. Is it that time, Eddie?
Was it that time?
I
It
feel
might
like
be
it's that time.
It's
I
that
feel like
time.
we're ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Drop it.
It's Florida Man Friday. We still haven't gotten that music. Can you please fucking make a song, Eddie?
No, I want to see every week. I want to see how worse it gets. It's gonna be a fart noise at one point. All right, here we go.
Remind everybody about the rules.
Florida
Eddie.
Man Friday. I read Jen Sturger 3 Florida Man headlines. 2 are real, 1 is fake. She has to tell me which is the fake one and prove how Florida she is.
All right, I got
Mark
this.
plays along too. Here we go. Florida man pays for order at Taco Bell, then robs same Taco Bell. Nearly naked Florida man breaks into school, smears feces and cake frosting everywhere. Florida man caught microwaving his underwear in convenience store, claiming that was the only way to make sure they were clean.
Wow.
3 of those are Florida man headlines. 1 is fake, 2 are real.
It's not that it's fake. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I mean, I should rephrase it. It has not happened yet.
I am going to go first this week. I think that it's C is the fake
C is the
one.
fake one?
Yes. Mark,
Guy microwaves
about
his
you?
underwear? You going number 1? You're going Florida man pays for order at Taco Bell, then robs same Taco Bell? And you're saying Florida
Yeah.
man caught microwaving underwear, saying this is the only way to get them clean?
Yeah.
You're a winner. Miss Florida, Jen Sturger. She's super Florida.
I am. Listen, if this episode, I'd like to thank this episode for reminding me of my roots and where
Well,
I
I
come
think you did that
from.
with the Kid Rock concert.
Yeah.
So I think we knew
I mean, this whole
how
episode
Florida
was
you were.
truly just me exposing myself for the white trash that I
There's
am.
only one way for this to go is for you to win this after this whole episode.
Yeah. If I didn't, honestly,
Yeah.
I was going to be the biggest fraud.
Yeah.
The biggest fraud of all time.
It would maybe question a lot of things about the show.
Why did you think the Taco Bell one was fake, Mark?
Honestly, I just wanted C to be real.
Well, C is almost real. I took that from because I had to make that one up. When I was a child, my dad was a Capitol police officer, working in the Capitol as a DC police officer. He was later in his career, he was a plainclothes detective with the Capitol Police Force. So he'd wear a suit, walk
Oh.
around the Capitol, whatever. One day, shit his pants while at work.
As
If
one
you-
does.
Well, if you know my dad, it's it's happened several times. So anyway, he shits his pants at work, right? Goes in the bathroom, cleans the shorts, right?
yeah.
But he's got wet underwear. So he put them in the break room microwave
No.
to dry them.
No. It's bad enough when the person in your office microwaves salmon.
He
He
microwaved
microwaved his.
underwear.
What?
His shit underwear. Well, he cleaned them. There was soap and water. They were clean, technically. And then he
No.
microwaved them.
No.
And then said that was the way to make sure they were clean, is to microwave them and nuke.
And make sure that no one in the office talks to you for a fucking week.
So that's what he did.
Did it smell awful?
Hey, it's pretty bad. He's from West Virginia. What are you gonna do, man?
The cake frosting, the feces frosting thing, I was like, no, that's real.
Yeah.
I feel like every parent has probably played that game.
Yeah.
Chocolate or poop.
Chocolate or poop.
Chocolate or poop. It's the fucking scariest game you can possibly play. I play it at my house, but it's with pets. And it's very bad. It's bad. And you've
Yeah.
been there.
Cat shit or snowcap. Cat shit or snowcap.
Eddie, where can people find you?
You check me out at Eddie Pence on all the socials, or go to eddiepence.com for any other information.
at Jennifer Sturger on all the socials, guys, upcoming dates, all of the things. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Not Today. If you like us, rate us, review us, share us with your friends.
5-star.
Five
rating,
stars, only 5 stars.
Positive text review.
Yes. Keep sharing us with your friends, guys. We're so excited about how much you guys are helping us grow this thing. Yeah, Eddie actually shows up happy to be at work for
I do.
once.
I come. I can talk and I smile. I laugh.
But thank you so much for being part of our family, guys. We'll catch you on the next episode of Not Today.
Bye.